USA Warrior Stories is a not-for-profit organization designed to record, archive, and share videos of veteran stories, to help veterans make a connection with one another, and to help us all better understand their sacrifices for our freedoms.
As the world marks the 8th anniversary of D-Day later this week, world leaders and World War II veterans will travel to Normandy, France, where an invasion of Allied troops became a turning point in the war against Nazi Germany.
It is the site of a new monument designed by Cary architect Mat Pearson.
Yeah, so we're here because I was asked to consider designing a monument for the Naval Combat Demolition Units. Initially, when we talked about concept and what this thing might be, it was a small marker, essentially, you know, either in the ground or slightly above the ground. Maybe there was a hedgehog on it. In talking with Captain Woolard and others on the committee, Ryan McComey, I thought that there was an opportunity for something more, considering the actions and the deeds. There's markers all over Omaha and Utah Beach and throughout Normandy, and those are great. Those are wonderful. But could there be a space and a place that of significance where people can experience and not just go up and read a plaque and read text inscribed on granite, or maybe there's an image or two, but the forms and the material have a deeper meaning, and when they're there, they remember being there and they want to come back. And the average person that comes to the site understands the forms, they get it. So those are things that are kind of self-evident when you're in and around the site. So that was the conversation. And then the next phase was, okay, well, that's great, you know, that sounds nice, but how do you start to do that? So that entered kind of the second phase. So the site location, Valerie Perhoa and the mayor of Saint Laurent, Mayor Denis, you know, they offered a couple sites, and they had their eyes set on this one site, which is right near WN 65, so the Wolfen's Nest 65, the German bunker. This location is significant for where one of the GAP teams landed. So they had the most amount of casualties. This is where there was a lot of confusion and how they were able to think quickly at this particular area and create a gap, which is where several, you know, significant other units were able to then come ashore. This is where the site is. It's the confluence right now, today, of tourist destination, vehicular traffic, pedestrian traffic. School children come, you know, during the construction. Every time I'm there, there's flocks of kids coming there for school trips to learn about the site, its significance. And so kudos to the French team. We couldn't have had a better site for this, and an opportunity for it not just to be a monument, but also a park. So something that we give back to the people of France, to the visitors, so you can come and linger. You don't even have to go into the monument proper. You can kind of sit on the fringes of the monument and meet a friend or contemplate or read a book. So it's kind of a place that's unique for everybody. So my grandfather, Ted Clausen, was landed at Utah Beach. So he was a coxswain in the Navy and did 3 landings on D-Day. We talked to him a little over a year ago, where he gave interviews. We set up, you know, one of my brothers is a videographer, so we got everything recorded. And he talked about the training in England and in Scotland, kind of dry runs with the boats, but he also talked about the NCDUs specifically. In his words, he said they were always blowing stuff up. So he heard it, he saw it, and so obviously the preparation and talking about when they were ready to go, you know, the weather came on hard, so there was a delay. So kind of had to recharge their nerves, get ready to go again. And these are boys going to war, so pretty significant. And I can't imagine being on that boat, you know, coming across the channel. you hear the gunfire, you feel the concussive forces, and it's full steam ahead right to the beach. Yeah, that started when I was about probably 15 years old. So we talked about D-Day. He was also, after being in the Navy, he was so impressed with seeing some of the Army guys, he actually switched over to the Army. So we talked about the Korean War and the Vietnam War, and it was something he hadn't talked about in a long time, any of that. And he said, I'm really glad we had this talk. And about a month later, I got an envelope in the mail with his Bronze Star and his Commendation Medal. You know, it's something that he was very happy to give to someone who cared about what he did. And so that's something that means a lot to me. And it's not a coincidence of where we are now. You know, everything's coming full circle. And I'm very proud to be part of it. So met a lot of great leaders, in particular Captain Woolard, and also the committee members at Fort Pierce for the Navy SEAL UDT Museum.
Well, we had typical Norman weather. It ended up sunshine, but before that we had some rain and some wind and some sleet and a little bit of hail. So we were right at home in the climate here, good frogman weather. People suffered, but we got it done, and it turned out to be a very sunny day and a very wonderful occasion for all of us. The real story of this monument is how people in France, people in the U.S. all came together, 3,000, 6,000. We had people in California working on this, Virginia, Florida, and over here. And the way they all came together and got it done in such a short time, that's the real story.
Here we are at Navy SEAL UDT Scouts and Raider dedicated monument, which we dedicated yesterday, and it was unveiled. And just going to be very direct and say it was a shitstorm yesterday. Not only have rain, but we had hail even. What do I take away from that is that we, got a sense of the men experience, and then when it was a crappy day and it really represented D-Day, Normandy, a war, and then we were able to go out on the beach and the sun came out, which was an experience of the beauty and the victory of what was achieved and accomplished with the bright, beautiful, gorgeous sunshine and the beautiful ocean, and the sand returned to really a beach where people play. Mothers and fathers bring their children, visitors from come around the world and walk and just look at the beauty. So that's kind of the dichotomy that exists here, is both this memory of a very challenging and tragic for many time here for our troops coming to liberate the French people and win a war, which they ultimately did via this route. And then there is the gorgeousness of their achievement left in the beautiful day. And also all the people that made it possible to build this amazing memorial to be here forever, so that people will know the heroes that were here. For me, very particularly my father, who was on Utah Beach. And so perhaps maybe we never have to do this again. That's my hope. Yeah.
Time. Beautiful.